So Detroit needs to be careful because if they don't, New York come in and steal this Eastern Conference from them.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership, where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, we've got the NBA trying to prevent tanking. We are dealing with public player spats in the NBA. In college on the men's side, how Baylor hacked the NBA draft. And in segment 3, anything you can do, I can do better. We'll explain that with the South Carolina women's team. Joining us today, Captain for Life Will Cotton, and the one who got away, Danny Thompson, our basketball correspondent. Danny, I'm going to start with you. The OCP Top 6, Eastern Conference, Pistons, Knicks, Celtics, Magic, Raptors, and Sixers. Hottest teams, you keep telling me. Knicks and the Celtics. What are we thinking about the East this week, sir?
I mean, you mentioned off the top, the Knicks. I mean, they're doing things right now where you have to look at them and say, outside of Detroit, who has the next best odds to win the East? And New York is doing it right now because, again, and I'll repeat this to the cows come home, it's the others. It's everyone else outside of Jalen Brunson and Cat. We mentioned how OG had a hell of a game in the NBA Cup final. And then after that, it just seems like this snowball into everybody else. Mikal Bridges is playing well. Josh Hart is playing well. Everyone seems to be picking up this steam as the season goes along. So Detroit needs to be careful because if they don't, New York come in and steal this Eastern Conference from them.
All right, Cottonman 1, we know you're a Knicks guy. No problem with that. How are you feeling about the East this week, sir?
Man, I like the East, man. They have a lot of good teams in it. The Knicks, obviously, Danny said they're doing their thing right now. But I want to talk about the Magic, man. I am really, really liking the Magic. They have a really good young roster. They have a surprise player, Anthony Black, who has been going crazy this season. I think he had almost 40 last night. He had 38. And then earlier this season, he had like 31. But he's been averaging around like 15, 17. On a good day, he had like 20. Man, that team is good. Young. Seem like they like each other. I have no issues hearing down. I know they have to work on a little bit of veteran experience. They have Bane, which is great, and that's a great amount of. He's tough, and I think he was a better leader that Memphis needed, and they got rid of him. It's unfortunate, but everything looks the way it's supposed to look, and I really like the Magic moving forward the next couple 3-4 years if they keep it together.
All right, go ahead.
You mentioned Anthony Black. Anthony Black. I mean, at first he was just doing this thing on TV. I'm looking at his numbers of the last 5 games. The boy is averaging 24, 5 and 4 with almost 2 steals and is shooting over 50% from the floor. So if
his free throw was better, if his free throws were a little bit better, I don't know if Tubbs would get his job back.
No.
All right, we're going to move to the West. OKC is 1, Spurs are 2. Who's your daddy? Daddy A. 3, Nuggets, 4, Rockets, 5, Lakers, and 6 T-Wolves. Hottest team is the Spurs. Danny, I kicked it back to the Who's Your Daddy because they've been beating OKC like they stole something. Any thoughts on the West this week?
As a Spurs fan, I don't care about nobody else. It is all about San Antonio. It's been about San Antonio since the season got started. So I'm okay with these numbers. I'm okay with these results. What I will say this, though, is with the Spurs, they are doing things that I would not expect this group to do. They are pretty much playing tougher basketball more than finesse basketball. I mean, yeah, you get the usual Spurs gameplay, ball movement, cutting. It's just when you got that alien that is 7'4" roaming the paint, putting the ball on the floor as if he was a 6'4" point guard. I mean, what else can you do? But then you have to look at the 2 guards because that's who's been really kicking it in for them. It's been DJ Harper and Stephon Castle. Both of those 2 guys have been playing supreme basketball lately. Now, I am saying this because they just lost to Utah last night. So as this recording, the win streak they had is now over. but I can't be mad at it because they've been playing well so far this season. So one slip up is okay. As long as there's not multiple slip ups, they could lose that footing that they got in the West. Because mind you, they still got to play OKC 2 more times before this season is over. So I'm not ruling out OKC at all. They're still the team to beat in the West. It's just right now, I can't talk about anybody else but San Antonio at this point.
All right, Cotton Man, our good friend Mike King is not none too pleased with the losses of San Antonio. Any thoughts on the West this week?
The West is the West right now. OKC is doing their thing. They're not playing for anything. We've seen this before with previous Warriors teams and Cleveland teams and Boston teams. And wait till get around like February, March, and then start to turn it up a little bit. Right now, they're trying to keep everybody healthy. Which is part of the game. As Danny said, the Spurs are the exciting team to watch. I was upset last year when Wemby got hurt because I knew they were going to ramp up for this year. They did so much pub. I mean, he went to he was going to Monks. He was doing his thing. Unfortunately, God bless to it, his grandmother just passed away. So they're really building this narrative of he's going to take over the game. I love it, man. I mean, nobody can guard him. He's talking trash. He's dunking on cats. I was one of those guys that said, "Oh, he's tall, but he's not gonna." The physicality is not there because I would see like 3 rebounds here, 4 rebounds, but they just took him out the game. He was already killing it. So I really like him, man. I really like the Spurs, man. I don't know if they have enough for OKC in a 7-game series, but they're gonna get some pieces. People are gonna want to play there. To be honest with you, it's unfortunate they had to get rid of CP3. I think he would have fit a little bit more on the bench than they did in LA. But yeah, I think it's going to be excited for the end for the Spurs. But right now, it's OKC and Jokic is playing insanely good. Like it's hard for him to not be the MVP. There's nobody on the team. Aaron Gordon is hurt. Cam Johnson is hurt. Everybody's hurt. And he's still putting 56, 16, and 15. Yo,
All right. Will, I'm going to stay with you. Our story of the week is tanking. The NBA apparently is unhappy with its league-wide tanking epidemic. After several attempts at reforming the lottery, the adoption of the play-in tournament, the league is considering more drastic steps to attack the problem of tanking. So here are some of the solutions being considered. Limiting the legal protections on traded first-round picks to top 4 or 14 or above, theoretically eliminating the incentive to tank down to a specific slot, trying not to lose when a play-in berth is at stake. Another solution is no longer allowing teams to draft in the top 4 in consecutive years, or locking lottery positions after March 1st. While all of these have drawbacks, Will, you're my player. You've been around me the most out of everyone. What are we thinking about this?
I like so in the day of AI, I find it so funny that we have these issues and nobody even says, "Hey, let's see what a different solution could be." One of the things I ran up in there when I said, will draft, where it's fixed multi-year rotation draft slots. Nobody moves. Every year it rotates, and that's just how it rolls. And you just play the season, and whether you get what you get, you can still trade your picks. But these are locked for the next 5-6 years based on whatever AI algorithm is popping out. Also, there's another one. Maybe after the All-Star game, maybe there's incentives for winning. When you win, or there's some sort of bonus, you get more ping pong balls in the lottery. They have to be some sort of creative, because they're fighting 2 things. One, they're fighting integrity for the actual NBA in the season, and then also they're holding off for people who are betting. I mean, there's a lot of money going in for the NBA, FanDuel, DraftKings, and you hear that teams are talking to each other like, "Oh, wait, let's bench so and so, or let's not play, or da 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 da." That costs a lot of a lot of money moves when guys like that. I'm not going to I'm pissed off. I'm paying $200 and I go see so and so and I go to the game and all of a sudden last minute, oh, he's sitting. Yeah, we're trying to tank. We're not trying to do nothing. You know, and the beers cost the same amount, the food costs the same amount, the apparel costs the same amount. You know, I think I don't know the answer directly, but I think the NBA needs to start to get a little drastic in their approach. People may not like it, but at the end of the day, protect the fans. That's what you need to do. Everybody else is making money. We're not making. We're the only ones who are paying to enjoy this. Everybody else getting paid. So just at least let us believe that there's some sort of integrity, but they have to be drastic with it.
All right, Danny, you're the player, man. Come on. What should we do about this tanking epidemic?
Y'all can come up with all these different policies all you want. They are going to find a way to tank the season to get these better draft picks. There is no feasible solution to tanking. I mean, yeah, they're trying to find ways to what's the word I'm looking for? To try to improve knowledge of when players are playing. Like they just changed the policy where you have to start reporting if players are going to be injured, you know, between like I think it's like 11 like 1 p.m. and then updated every 15 minutes instead of every hour. So
Yeah,
that's starting to right. So they're starting to see that be improved in that situation. But even with that, there's still drawbacks to that. So they continue to try to find solutions all they want to this tanking situation. Like Will said, they're going to have to be aggressive for this. I can't think of a solution to stop tanking because there cannot be a finite solution because no matter what you do, no matter what you put in place, teams are going to find a way. They're always going to find a way. And unless you get really aggressive in stopping this, there's no way around it. Like I get trying to freeze lottery positions, you know, once it gets to a certain point in the season. I think they were trying to say once March 1st hits, if you're in the lottery, you're stuck in the lottery. You can't come out of it, which makes sense. And then with that being said, guess what? Teams are like, all right, we're already in the lottery. Let's start losing more so we can get a better position in the lottery. So there's no right answer to this question. As much as I want to sit back and figure it out as a player, I can't, because if it were me, I'd be telling them, look, y'all need to let me play or let me go. Because I didn't sit back for y'all to just say, hey, we're just going to automatically lose games because y'all want to get a better standing in the draft. As a player, that would piss me off. So I can't go with this. So unless the league gets aggressive and start policing this from the word go, there is no finite solution to tank it. It just isn't.
All right, Danny, to close out the segment, I'm going to stay with you. Steve Kerr and Draymond Green had a public sideline spat, which, hey, folks, these things happen like every day. But they're an aging team. Draymond is not the Draymond from 2017. Steve Kerr, many say, was gifted a team for Mark Jackson. Some people on the panel may say this. So is this a big deal, or is this an aging team still hanging on to one last bit of glory that they're not going to get? Danny, what do you think?
Well, to answer your question, yes, I am one of those people on the panel who say Steve Kerr was gifted that team for Mark Jackson. I've been saying that for years, and I'll continue to say that because there's no way Mark Jackson should be out of a job after that what he did to even get them to this position. So I digress from that point. To answer the question, this is just an aging team at this point. They're not going to relive those championship days that they had, you know, for the past, you know, almost 10 years or so. But at the end of the day, it is a problem because now, as in what we saw with John Morant at the beginning of the season, you got a guy who's quote unquote your leader of the team challenging the coach in a disrespectful way. So they need to fix this because they're still in the hunt for the playoffs. So they need to fix this now. So right now, I'm not going to say it's a big deal, but if this starts to progress as the season goes along, they need to look into this very fast.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad you're on because I don't remember any huge play. I remember some salty conversations, but I don't think anybody ever stormed off and left to the locker room. Any thoughts about Steve Kerr and Draymond Green on this aging dynasty?
They should have made this move 2 years ago. When they let Clay get gone, they should have let Dre gone at the same time and build around Steph Curry. I think
And Jonathan Kuminga.
yeah, they're they're handcuffing him. They should have never brought in Jimmy Butler because, to me, in my opinion, they should never. But if you had that kind of money 2 years ago when they won the championship, start resetting everything. Say, hey, you won your chip. All right, if you're gonna pay somebody, pay Clay. Pay for the. I'm gonna pick for the guy who's not gonna complain. Because neither one of them can play defense anymore. Give me the guy who can shoot. At least has a better vibe in their locker room. Guys love Clay. I mean, wherever he goes, they love where he goes. Whether he's good or bad, they love him. So Draymond is just, it's unfortunate, man. I know he's a competitor. I know his skill set is decreasing. His athleticism is decreasing. He's getting old. He's getting ornery. He's going, dude, you're getting angry in December. Come on, man. It's just this dude is just they're a team that's holding on too long. Dunleavy, when they brought Dunleavy, his son Dunleavy Jr.
Yeah.
I guess his plan was like, I'm gonna try and milk this roster for what it is, and before I have to rebuild and create everything, maybe he's not the recreate kind of guy. Maybe he's like, I'm just gonna put this on top of that, and now everything's good. Look, now we can compete. We're good. But I don't think they're ready for that. They're ready for a reset, but they don't know where they stand. They know they're going to keep Steph, but we'll see if Steph wants to hang on for another ride. Like, hey, it's going to take 3, 4, 5 years to kind of get competitive.
Steph ain't got 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, because Steph don't got that. Again, he make too much money. He's like, man, I don't have time for that. So they put themselves in a situation. They put all their eggs in the basket in this season or last couple of seasons. It never worked. They had never really got competitive. They made it in the playoffs, great. They got a new stadium, great. But this next iteration is coming. It's going to be no Curry, no Draymond, no Clay, no KD. Now, this is your team. Move forward. They'll probably will get a new coach at some point, but they got to make that decision faster, sooner than they can, because hold on to them old players. not good move.
As I'm very fond of saying, it rarely ends well. And it is better to leave a year early than a year late. So with that, in segment 2, we're going to talk about how Baylor hacked the NBA draft and try to give our audience the real reasons of why this is happening. And maybe we can calm Tom Izzo down too. We'll be right back on the Ad Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Let's get the net rankings out of the way so my tag team partner, Mike Franchise Francis, can be upset. So here's the top 5 net. Michigan's 1, Arizona's 2, Duke is 3, took a loss to Texas Tech. Gonzaga is 4. Technically, they're mid-major folks in the West Coast Conference. And Iowa State, who's been awesome, I need to pay attention to them, is 5. Highest ranked mid-majors on the men's side. 18 is Utah State in the Mountain West. 27 is St. Louis in the A-10. 28 is St. Mary's in the WCC. 45 is Tulsa in the American. And wait for it, Boise State in the Mountain West. is 47. Again, strictly for entertainment purposes only, but our story of the week. My goodness, my phone has been burning all week long. The 7-foot transfer, how Baylor just hacked the NBA draft. So, former Detroit Pistons second-round pick James Nnaji, if I'm not mistaken, has enrolled in Baylor and is immediately eligible to play for the Baylor Bears men's basketball team. And this is a significant development and an unprecedented path in college basketball. So let's dig a little deeper, fans. Okay. Nnaji, he's 21 years old. He went 31st in the 2023 NBA draft with his rights going to Charlotte as a part of a trade. His rights were then traded to the New York Knicks in 2024. However, he never signed an NBA contract and instead has been playing in Europe, most recently in Turkey on loan from FC Barcelona in Spain, where he's averaging 7.5 points a game and 4 rebounds a game. Okay, so that's the situation. So the bottom line, he's eligible to play for Baylor because the NCAA granted him 4 years of eligibility, recognizing that his professional experience overseas with FC Barcelona and other teams, he never signed an NBA contract, and he was released from his pro obligations before enrolling, fitting with the newer NCAA rules that allow some pro-turned-college players to compete despite being drafted. So, here are the key reasons. Unsigned NBA contract. You can play overseas and still be eligible according to some current rules. NCAA rule changes. The NCAA has evolved to allow athletes with prior pro experience, especially in overseas leagues and the G League, to return to college under specific circumstances and certain conditions, acknowledging that there's kind of some blurred lines here. And he also got a release. So, with that being said, Will, you're my player, and you're the practical one. What do you think now that you know why he's eligible? Are we okay with this?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay. You found a loophole and you took it. Why not? We all found those loopholes, whether they're taxes, business incentives, all kind of loopholes. We find them now that we found them. I expect the NCAA will go in and close that loophole. That is my biggest thing for me. It's like, okay, look, you got me. But moving forward, you ain't getting me again. So I expect them to look at their contract and their agreement, make sure that this doesn't happen again. I wouldn't put too more effort or money to fighting this, because it just looks like lack of procedure, lack of policy, lack of just understanding of your whole legal standpoint or landscape, I should say. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised that this slid through the cracks. I mean, this is very specific situation. So, hey, man, if you can take advantage of it, go make your money, man. Go try. You're still young. Go. Obviously, you're 7 feet tall. That's a little incentive for it as well for people. But yeah, do your thing, man. You got through the loophole, and I expect the NCAA will go in and close that loophole because that's kind of silly, and they got caught up with their pants down. So.
Okay, Danny. Not only are you a former player, but you also coached high school, and you're all over the web, and you've heard that this is a joke. Everybody's a joke. Yell, yell, scream, scream. This is screwing the high school kids. Blah, blah, blah. Now that you know what happened, what do you think about him being allowed to play?
The NCAA is garbage. And I will say that until the cows come home. As former NCAA athlete, they are pure garbage to allow this to happen. Now, I'm with Will. As far as, the loophole behind it, they found a way to get in through it. So I can't be mad at it. And at the same time, I can be pissed because you're pretty much scrapping his pro experience to play college. Now, y'all are doing what FIBA did all those years ago before 92. We're saying if you played in the NBA, you're a professional. If you play professionally overseas, you're an amateur. So at this point, the NCAA absolute garbage for allowing this to happen, because now what you're telling me, and again, as a former high school coach, you're pretty much saying, bump bringing in 18-year-olds. We need some experienced guys coming into the program now at this point. So why would you still allow this to happen? Because I look, Matt Barnes, All the Smoke podcast, he pretty much said what I've been saying. He said it way better, way more angrier, and a little bit more colorful language than what I would have done. I'm okay with it in the sense of they're not breaking any rules, so Baylor's they're not doing anything wrong. And in the other sense, I'm pissed because, again, you're pretty much, one, devaluing overseas play. Let's get that out the way, because you're pretty much saying they're amateurs, they're not professionals. And two, you're hurting younger players from playing, because now you're pretty much telling me, younger guys, look, go play overseas for a little bit, then come back and play college. So they might pull a LaMelo Ball or Brandon Jennings at this point and then come overseas. They're like, oh, man, I can get drafted. Cool. I'm not going to sign a contract yet. I'll say I've been drafted, but I'm not going to sign a contract yet. I'll go play a couple years in college, then come back. So this is finicky. This is crazy. And again, I'll say this, and I said it once, I'll say it again. I said it every minute of this whole rant that I just went on. The NCAA is garbage, and this issue needs to get fixed.
All right.
But it's also
go ahead, Will.
But it's also like, if that's going to be the rule, if that's what you're going to say, if you're going to say, okay, you can go to overseas, you get your 2 years, play whatever. You can go play in the G League for 2 years, we'll get your money, whatever. Then just say that's the rule. Don't at least let people know when you're an 17-year-old, 16-year-old kid looking to get drafted. There's a couple of them who came in from Baylor, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, man, like I'm ready to go. And I said, whoa, my bad. We got this 7-foot kid who's been in the pros 5 years. Like, and if you're an 18-year-old and you're a center, you're like, why would I come here? Why would I? I didn't know that's an option. I could do that. All right. I think it has to work for everybody in some way, but you can't just have these loopholes. That's the anger.
Okay.
It's like those corporate loopholes in taxes. Like, how much do they pay? $44 in taxes?
I understand the vitriol across the globe with this. Couple of things though. One, ain't with 450 some odd players in the NBA. Okay. Two, just because you can't go to Kentucky doesn't mean you can't play college basketball. Get yourself a degree, focus on doing both. So whatever your rules are, and yes, the NCAA does lack structure, does lack accountability, and doesn't always help. But nobody stopped a kid from track. Doesn't look at it this way. Track's been having people come from every other country come to our schools, get their degrees, get their speed, and then go win Olympic medals for somebody else. Hey,
Yeah.
Tennis, baseball's got the best system. You could get drafted out of high school, say, no, I'm good, go to college 3 years. So that calmed me down with everybody's outrage about not being able to play whatever. Most cats can't even play at that level anyway. And Will has scouted with me. Will played with 2 college guys that if they were playing today would blow these folks away. Danny Thompson, I wouldn't even get into the gym with Danny Thompson if he was playing a deck. Okay, I wouldn't even, no thank you. I'd have got a no thank you on the first conversation. So let me just say before we move to segment 3, where we'll talk about how South Carolina said, hold my beer on this one. Go to class, get the best grade you can, work hard on your craft, and the answer to most questions is get better or do better. Okay. So with that, in segment 3, we're going to not only talk about South Carolina, but compare South Carolina's situation with Baylor. And we haven't forgot Diego Pavia and the JUCO folks too. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA Save Project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, let's first get you to the women's net ranking. UConn is number 1. South Carolina is number 2 with a bullet. Texas is 3. UCLA is 4. And LSU is 5. Mid-majors. Princeton is the highest ranked mid-major at 38. Fairfield is 41. I'm telling you, keep an eye on them. Richmond is 43. South Dakota State is 47, and North Dakota State is 49. So the Summit League's got some things going on. But our story of the week, anything you can do, I can do better. So South Carolina, earlier this week, South Carolina women's basketball team made a stunning announcement. French phenom Alicia Tournebize, and I've probably butchered the name, and I don't have .5 or Francois here to help me, will join the team after the holiday break. She's 6'7" and been playing professionally in France, and she's eligible to play immediately. Okay, so here's the rundown. She's 18. She's played, Euro basketball and played for the high league. She's averaged 12 points, 8.9 rebounds a game, shot 54%. She helped France win the bronze medal. She's very accomplished. Well, why is she coming now? Well, we really don't have an answer, but her mom played at Colorado, and Dawn Staley develops posts. There's no doubt about it, from Asia Wilson to Aaliyah Boston to Camila Cardoza. So Dawn Staley, a point guard, knows how to develop a post, and if you let post coach, a post player can help develop a point guard. But that's another story for another day. So she brings the South Carolina size, athleticism, paint presence, mid-range game, but she also kind of stops her WNBA clock for a second because she has to stay in college for 2 years. Under the current rules, international prospects must turn 20 in the year which the draft takes place, and domestic prospects must turn 22. So now she's playing in college. She's a domestic prospect. So with that being said, Danny, you watch more women's ball than we all do. Are we mad at this one as much as we're mad at the Baylor situation?
Yeah, I'm mad at this one. I'm mad at this one too. This ain't no different, but I'm not as mad as the Baylor situation. Again, the only reason I'm mad is because, not in a sense of the college team is finding the loopholes. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's discounting international play. That's my only gripe, honestly, with this, outside of what my gripes with the men's side. Now, from a basketball perspective, the girl can go. I was watching some of her games a couple days ago, and she is athletic. She will get up there and put it on your head if she has to. What people don't pay attention to is everything that she does that you want your post player to do. I need you to be able to hit from 15 feet and be dominant 15 feet in. Good touch around the basket. She's not just a rim protector. She is an all-around capable defender. So she's a good pickup for South Carolina. Now, am I as mad about this as I am for the Baylor situation? No, because with her, if we're looking at this from a draft perspective, she was never drafted. She's never entered into the WNBA draft at all. And then, as we know, she can't. She got to do 2 years of college first, right? So if they can find a way to make it work, it's fine. And teams are going to find a way to make this work, especially on the women's side, because it's easy. It seems it's easier to do it on the women's side than the men's side, because there's too much red tape and yellow tape to deal with on the men's side than is the women's side, right? So I'm not going to get into the whole rant, because my rant is going to be the same thing I said on the Baylor side. This one doesn't upset me as much, only because She was never drafted yet, but she did play professionally. But again, international pro is not a pro in the eyes of the NCAA. So what can you do? They can, again, I said this when we talk about the tanking situation. The NCAA can find any old way to put a bow on this and say, you can't do this anymore. Teams are going to find a way around it. So let's be real. They're going to find a way. In South Carolina, they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't break any rule. Just like Baylor, they didn't break any rule. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just I need the NCAA to put more respect on international pros and stop saying that they're amateurs. This ain't 1992 anymore. We are in the year of our Lord 2025 going to 2026. They are pros. They play professionally. Stop this nonsense. They're not amateurs anymore.
So, Will, are we mad at South Carolina like people are mad at Baylor?
I'm like Danny said, don't devalue international players. I think that's the biggest thing from a big standpoint. The biggest thing I'm upset is all the other teams. Y'all could have been doing the same stuff. Y'all acting like y'all could have been out going to the French. Y'all go to, stop acting like this. What? Remember that movie, the Up There?
Yeah.
Where Kevin Bacon went to Africa to find that doesn't happen anymore. That happen anymore. Trust me.
You got the Basketball Africa League. You don't need Kevin Bacon.
You have the internet. Alicia has been people know if you're in a very and basketball community is very small. I'm not part of the community anymore, but people knew about her for years. She's only 18 years old. I'm sure people knew about her for a decade at least.
I'm gonna say we've known about her for a long time. This is not she's not a secret. We've all known about it. We've been raving about her game for years.
So if you've known that, is South Carolina the only one who got lawyers who are looking into the legalities of NCAA? Like, you know what? Maybe we could do this. I'm sure UConn did the diligence. I'm sure LSU did their diligence. I'm sure all these teams, Iowa. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? If this is what you're allowing, and you have teams, no disrespect to Baylor, but they're not the biggest basketball team. Y'all didn't know about that, Duke? Y'all didn't know about the Arizona? Y'all didn't know about the UNC where you can go get this 7-foot kid, 20-year-old who's been playing 5 years of basketball? Come on, y'all done knew that. Lack of understanding of the policy, because the only people who are upset are people who didn't know that I could do this. And they're like, oh, crap, you could do that? I didn't know you could do that. I could go. And that's where the anger has come from, where everyone's like, oh, I could have done the same thing. That should be illegal. So, I mean, keep doing your thing. Unless they make it illegal, unless they make it something that you can't do this no more, use all your resources until the NCAA is like, you can't do this. You can't do this. Again, the biggest thing is
somebody who coached in a consortium. I knew everything I needed to know within the bounds of the rules to get the best possible players I could get through our academic programs.
But the biggest thing with even with the previous gentlemen who are going to Baylor and Alicia who are going to South Carolina, if you put in some kind of way, said it didn't have to be a big deal, it could be like, she's really interested in engineering. South Carolina has a great, if you want to lie, just put it out there. She chose South Carolina because they have a great policy program, or Baylor, he chose Baylor because they have a great engineering program. Make us believe in some way that this is in academics. Yeah, don't just make it like we're just going out poaching 5-year-old pros who've been working for 5 years and bring them in the contract. Like that's the biggest thing. Don't invalidate the overseas players as not professionals, because they are.
All right. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network, where I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at Will. But we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care. There's two now. Okay.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.ckasave.com. project.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.